This is the first episode of the Life with Disabilities show, starring me, John Good. Hello, I'm John Good, and I have a disability. I was diagnosed with autism in about 3 years old. I love game shows, and every game show I love is Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, Family Feud, Millionaire, and Press Your Luck. And I created a lot of things. I'm very good at technology, painting, in some boxes, video games, and more. And I made a JGN original content YouTube channel. I've been on it for 5 years, since 2016. Right after John Good 93 account was been removed, I made a new series called Unto Your Face, Blitz, Curse vs. Blessed commercials, one of my least favorite shows, and The Big Dough. It's a new creative game show I ever played. You know, I love Hershey Park because back in 2018, I was having a lot of fun at the Hershey Park because lots of roller coasters. It was so much fun. A lot of food, a lot of watching live entertainment, and going to the water slide right here, and it's super fun and excitement. I would like to go back to the 90s when I was born and watch some old Disney movies like Mickey Mouse cartoons, Little Mermaid, Lady and the Tramp, and many more. And cook spaghetti, pizza, crescent rolls, and everything. For some challenges with my disabilities is I'm having a hard time unloading the dishwasher and take out the trash because of the dog's barking. And all the time when I get out of a house when a dog's barking, I was having a hard time remembering to do them. And for all of the goals is work to focus on myself. I'll become a safe body, and my ultimate goal is live independent life. Don't stress, and don't stress out. Don't destroy the furniture. Don't destroy the TVs. Don't scream, don't cry, and don't overreact like that. Those are some things I'm doing to help me be able to live on my own. I have my mom who has disability. She's formerly working at the bank, and then she retired. And then this is my mom.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Farsadakis. I'm John Good's mom. I want to say that it is a joy for me to have a child with a different ability. You learn to be very patient. You learn to have a sense of humor because sometimes you just have to laugh. They learn differently, and you learn to adapt your way of thinking to how they're thinking. They may not always say what they're thinking, but you can tell. And they know exactly what you're thinking. So it's important to be kind and be patient to anyone with a disability. Right, buddy?
Yes, Mom. That's it for the first episode with the Life with Disabilities show. And now stay tuned for the episode 2. This is the second episode of the Life with Disabilities show, starring Alex Halserman. Hello, Alex. Welcome to the Life with Disabilities podcast show.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me.
So, tell me about your job.
Sure. So I am the intake specialist for Core Foundations and Project Search. which falls under the bigger umbrella of meaningful community services at Kennedy Krieger Institute. So basically my job involves a lot of talking and meeting with families who we serve in core foundations and project search, as well as families that are interested in the services that we offer. The biggest part of what I do is I oversee the entire admissions process. So folks who are interested in coming to core foundations or project search, I help them to go through the application process, learn about what we do and how we help people with disabilities, and help them make sure all the paperwork and everything is ready to go, and to make sure that we're facilitating meetings and putting all these meetings that they have to do on the schedule.
Wow, that's good. And why did you decide to work with individuals with disabilities?
So it sort of happened by accident. When I graduated from college, I was looking for a job, and I found a job working as a one-to-one support staff in a private special education school in Rockville. And then I fell in love with the work that I was doing with the individuals that I was working with, and I've been doing it for the last 8 years.
That was amazing. So what is your favorite part of your working with individuals with disabilities?
That's a really good question, John. I would have to say that it's probably the rewarding feeling of seeing someone reach their goals and succeed, and knowing that I had a role in that. It's great to be able to help somebody else. And that's something that I've always loved to do, is to help others, which I think is another part of the reason why I love working with individuals with disabilities. And I just feel, it's really heartwarming to see someone that you work with for so long achieve those goals and go off to live as independent lives as possible.
I like to be in the independent life very soon.
I think you can definitely do it, John.
Yeah. So are there any challenges for you working with individuals with disabilities?
Well, John, as you know, everyone has good days and everyone's got bad days. Some days are going to be a little bit tougher than others. The biggest thing that I've found that's a challenge sometimes is communication. A lot of individuals that I've worked with have a communication impairment. So it's a little bit harder for them to communicate with other people and to tell others how they're feeling or what's going on. So that can be really challenging some days. But working in the field and getting to know them a lot better and to build that trust with them is really important for them to be able to open up and you to learn how they communicate best with you. It could be them just pointing to a picture to tell them how you feel, or maybe it's you just being patient, letting them talk slowly through it to get the words out. So patience is a really big thing in overcoming those challenges.
Wow. That was all right. And what are some skills you have that help you with your job?
Sure. So I just mentioned one of them, being patience. It's really hard to be patient sometimes, because sometimes we want to get something and get an answer right away. But working in this field for as long as I have, it's become very evident that you have to have a little bit of patience, especially when you're working with new people and meeting new people, and trying to meet them where they're at. So, I have to constantly remind myself, okay, slow down, take a breath, let them go through their process.
Wow. That's nice skills.
I agree.
Is there anything else would you like to share about your experiences working with individuals with disabilities?
I think the biggest thing is just to share with people that it's such a rewarding field to work in, and it's such a great group of individuals to work with. I've told everyone who asks me what I do and why I do it that I learned so much more from working with individuals with disabilities than I would ever learn from a book or from sitting in a classroom. They've taught me so much more about myself and what other people are capable of. And I think that that's the most rewarding part of working with these individuals is, they're just like everybody else, and they just want a chance to have a job and to live independently and to be like everybody else. So, I think we need to continue to work to give them those opportunities as best as we can.
Wow, that's a very good answer to this question. So thanks Alex Halserman for being on a Life with Disabilities podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, John. I really appreciate you taking the time to interview me. This was awesome.
Yeah. That's it for the episode 2 of the Life with Disabilities show. Now stay tuned for the episode 3. This is the 3rd episode of the Life with Disabilities show, starring Tyler Shalhoub. Hello, Tyler Shalhoub. Welcome to the Life with Disabilities show.
Hello, Jonathan. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you too. And tell me all about yourself and your disability.
My name is Tyler Shalhoub, and I'm a current project search intern, and I'm working in the security department at the Green Spring campus at Kennedy Krieger High School for my internship. So about my disability, I'm legally blind, and I have a little bit of vision difficulties, but overall, and a little bit of autism. But at the same time, I feel like it's almost like it impacts my life a little bit, but at the same time, it's almost like normal in a way, because the only with my disability, it's just going to be harder for me to keep a job and stuff like that. But I feel like, but I still have hope that I'll live a successful life, despite my disabilities.
Ooh, well, that's a very good story. And what is your favorite part of living with a disability?
I would say maybe my favorite part of living with disabilities, I would say my favorite part would be sometimes when my parents go out, me being able to stay home alone, because a lot of people with disabilities, and there's some people with disabilities who aren't capable of being unsupervised for a long time, but I do feel like if my parents go somewhere, I can be left unsupervised for an hour or two, and I just feel good that I'm able to do that, because a lot of people with disabilities, they need supervision.
That's good. And what are some challenges you have had because of your disability?
I think some of the challenges I've had is, first, when I was younger, because of my autism, I had trouble dealing with loud noise, and then sometimes it was and still is a little bit today, John, it's a little bit hard for me to try different things, and then I also have challenges with trying to make sure I'm doing I have a decent job for when I'm older, and then also just making sure I succeed well in college classes, because of my visual impairment. I've had quite a lot of challenges, but I feel like I'm working on overcoming them, which is a good thing.
Wow. Well, that's I was just having a lot of loud noises. I was afraid of loud noises, just like you, Tyler.
Well, that makes sense.
And what is your proudest moment?
I have a lot of proudest moments. I would say one of them is I got an alumni advocacy award in high school for trying for speaking up about problems, accessibility problems within my school environment in high school, and I got an award for bringing awareness to accessibility, and I feel very proud of that I'm helping make a difference.
Yeah. Do you have any goals for yourself?
Yeah, I have a few goals. One of my goals is to hopefully live an independent life away from my parents. Maybe live in a group home setting, and then as I get older, hopefully find someone like, to love, and then for careers, I'm hoping to find something maybe computers and information technology or campus security, like I'm doing on my internship right now. Like I feel like I have a lot of goals I'm thinking about, but it's like I still feel like I'm at the early stages of planning out like my adulthood. Like I'm only 20 years old, so I still feel like I still have some time to plan ahead.
I like to do the independent life too, Tyler.
Yeah, I think you and I like I think that would be good. Like because just because you're different from other people, it doesn't mean it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be like in supervision all the time. Like sometimes I mean, most people want to be alone, but just because you're different doesn't stop you from always like living away from your parents.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Well, I like to thanks Tyler for being on the Life with Disabilities show. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy this in the future.
Thank you, John. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye bye.
That's it for the episode 3 of the Life with Disabilities show. Stay tuned for the grand finale. This is the grand finale of the Life with Disabilities show, starring Secretary Beatty. Welcome to the Life with Disabilities show, Carol Beatty. Thank you for being here and talking with me.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, that is great to have you being here. And can you tell me more about your job?
Sure, I'd love to. Way back in the early 2000s, 2004, the governor of the state of Maryland created the Department of Disabilities. And he made it part of his cabinet, which means it's part of his leadership team. So the secretary, which I am right now, is part of his team. And so when Governor Hogan took office in 2015, he was elected in 2014, he asked me if I was interested in being the secretary of the Department of Disabilities and part of his team. So I said yes after I thought about it for a while, because I had been in my job for a long time at the ARC of Howard County as their executive director, and I wasn't really sure I wanted to leave, but I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity. And so what I do is I have a great group of staff who are all very smart and very sophisticated and very knowledgeable about disability policy issues, like how to get people jobs and how to find housing for people and how to create opportunities for people to be more included in their communities throughout Maryland. And so I work with all of these folks to help make change in Maryland, to make Maryland a better place and a better state for people with disabilities. And at the same time, don't want to leave this out, I also, and my staff also spend time advising, making recommendations to the governor, to Governor Hogan, and also to my other state agency partners about ways to change things for the better for people with disabilities.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. And I have a disabilities I worked with there. So why did you decide to work with individuals with disabilities?
Well, that takes me back a long way, back to when I first got out of college. And that was a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was. But I had an opportunity to get a job with an agency in Anne Arundel County called Bella McCree that serves people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And I took that opportunity and I loved it. I worked directly with people. I was a direct support professional, and I loved it. So then I decided to go back to college for my master's degree and to learn more about working with people with disabilities. And I've been in the field ever since.
That's an interesting answer. What is your favorite part of working with individuals with disabilities?
Well, I like the fact that that there are so many opportunities for people with disabilities to be part of their community, to take leadership roles in their community, to get jobs, to be elected officials, to run businesses, to hire other people. And so I like all the opportunities that we have here in the state to both help people kind of dream a bigger dream and have bigger ideas, sort of like what you had when you said this is what you wanted to do. And there probably aren't a whole lot of people out there with disabilities that have their own podcasts, but you decided that this was something you were really interested in. And so we love being part of that, being part of helping people create opportunities in their own lives and to achieve success.
Cool. And that's my good achievement. And are there any challenges for you working with individuals with disabilities?
Well, I don't think that there are challenges in working with people with disabilities. The challenges are that people without disabilities sometimes don't understand all the things that people with disabilities can achieve. So that's our job, is to really make sure that the general public understands that not only are people with disabilities just like everybody else, and they can do whatever they want with the right supports in place, but also that they have the right to do that. That they are, like a lot of other minority groups, their expectations have been sometimes too low, and we need to educate the community and the people in the state and people in the United States that people with disabilities have every right to achieve whatever they want to.
Yeah, that's nice. And what are some skills would you have that help with you and with your job?
Well, I think one of the most important things is I have a disability. I've had a disability my whole life, so I understand the challenges facing people with disabilities. And interestingly, when the law that created our department was made, they said that the secretary had to have a disability. So that's really, I think, important, that I understand and I have some credibility with that department, with that population. I also have run organizations for many, many years, so I have a lot of experience with working with other people, working with elected officials, working with community leaders, and working with staff and bringing out the best in the staff that I have, that I have the honor to work with.
Is there anything else would you like to share about your experiences working with individuals with disabilities?
Well, I'll tell you, one of my favorite things that I haven't been able to do a lot of during the pandemic is I love to get out and visit people and see what they're doing. And that is something that I look forward to doing again once the pandemic is over. But I just love traveling all over our state and meeting people with disabilities that are doing really interesting things like what you're doing here.
Thank you, Secretary Beatty, for being in the Life with Disabilities show, for coming along.
Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you for inviting me.
That's it for the grand finale of the Life with Disabilities show. Thanks for listening. And also, the Good Intern Show will be in the link in the description below. So, thanks for listening.
and goodbye.